We always hear trust the process. I feel like not a lot of people are able to recognize when they're in the process. The process does not feel good. It does not look good. It's not easy. It makes you want to give up. It makes you want to quit. It makes you question everyone around you who says they support but doesn't. And it's like, it is a very stressful process. But through that process, you have to understand that you are being groomed and shaped for what it is that you're working towards. And as long as you are realistic with yourself, be realistic with where you're at. Like, that's one thing I would never felt like my ego was ahead of me. I understood where I was at, and it's like, okay, I know I'm good. I know I have the potential, but I also recognize where I'm at.
Welcome back to Have a Map, where we talk all things career. I'm your host, Mamadou Njai, founder of Dim Events, and we're excited to chat today. We've been trying to schedule this interview for a while, and it's been a lot on me, so I feel bad about that, especially with Marie, because she's been working hard on making sure and staying on top of me. But let's introduce Marie, our co-host for today. Marie, you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah. Hello, I am Marie. I am a marketing intern with Dim Events, and I'm from Connecticut, and I go to the College of William and Mary in Virginia.
Very dope. And with that, I want to get right to our guest today, 91, calling out of Texas. I was gonna say Dallas, Texas, but I do not think that is correct. I don't know why my brain went that direction. But 90, do you want to say what's up to everyone? Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all? I'm very excited to be here. I appreciate you guys for the opportunity. I know a part of the delay was on me as well, but I actually, I really like that. I was like, man, as creatives, our schedules get busy, and it's good to keep that communication going. Which you and your team did a great job, so I really appreciate you guys for that. But my name is 91. That's the number 90 and the word one. Everyone calls me 90 for short. And yeah, I'm here in Texas. I'm in Houston, Texas. So I first got my career established in Austin, and it's kind of taking off for me now in Houston. So Austin is where I got started with everything. I'm currently a television producer for Iconic Television, which is a independently owned station here in Houston. My boss, Julia Davis, is the youngest station owner in the nation. So she's doing some big things with that. I'm one of her right hand mans, one of her go tos, just with everything. We see the potential of what we have. So we're really just putting in a lot of work right now, creating a lot of content, just really trying to make some things happen. I have my own show called Lyrical Layers that I'm producing. It's a hip hop show. I'm a big hip hop nerd, so it's all about getting back to the lyrics, to the essence of rap, the wordplay, the rhyme schemes. We discuss a lot of things like that. Like it's a real show for the hip hop nerds. And then other than that, I just help others produce their shows, whether it be podcasts, radio shows, television shows. I also do a lot with events and a lot with musical artists, but I won't get into that because I'll probably go on for like another 30 minutes just saying what I can do. But yeah, overall, yeah, my main focus right now, man, is like TV hosting. I want to be one of the biggest hosts to come out of Texas.
That's so dope. I love the ambition and I love the energy, because I feel like TV is such a hard thing to break into, especially um especially for Black people as well, right? Like, I
Hmm.
feel like that's a tough space to be in, because I feel like it's slowly but surely opening up, but on these larger TV networks, you might see like one, two people and really don't see that much representation within that space.
Right, and that's what I love about my station. It's Black owned. My boss, she's only 28, or just turns 29. Black owned station owner, the youngest station owner in the nation. So that gives us a lot of leverage. Not even just to work with just Black artists and creators, but just being able to have that leverage to give to independent creators who, like, yeah, you might not be able to go to CBS or Channel 5 or something like that and just kind of walk in and meet the owner right there and, kind of learn something on the spot. So I really love that we're doing that as well. We're actually going to be starting to do some like different classes like editing classes, hosting classes, and things like that.
Very cool. Well, I'll kick it over to Marie and then we can get started.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's awesome. It's cool that it's like such like a personal like experience. So I wanted to ask, what is like a day-to-day life for you? What does that look like?
My day-to-day life is a little crazy just because I do so much. Now, as it pertains just to television and everything, whenever like say a day to day, it could be just depends on what we're working on at the moment. But we do have like different productions every week, whether it's podcast productions or television like that. The last thing that I just recently did for 2 days, I was following around a pretty big YouTuber. So he has his YouTube monetized. He does a lot of like classes on there and everything. So I did like a day in the life thing, like kind of recapping with him. So we do a lot outside of television as well, as far as, just anything visually. So I do a lot with that, but I've also, it could be like one day we might be shooting for one of our hosts. Her name is Barry. She has a show called Breaking Barriers with Barry Dynamic, and they've rented out like a private location or a restaurant or a club, and we're getting in there, we're setting up the stage, getting the set right, making sure furniture's how we want it, everything, lights are where they need to be, cameras are where they need to be, everyone knows their jobs, their roles. After that, we're checking the cameras to make sure angles are good, make sure lights are good, getting everything set up. Then guests come in, because a lot of things we do are with live audience as well. So we do a lot of live audience shows. So when the guests get in there and everything, we let them know, hey, this is an actual TV production. You're gonna hear us say cut. You're gonna hear action. We're gonna hear, hey, let's get a better take of that. Different things like that. So that's kind of what it is on the regular. But with us being a TV station as well, and I wear so many hats. I'm not just a host. I also kind of fall into like journalism and reporting. We have a lot of events that we go to, celebrity events where we'll interview, do a lot of red carpet interviews. So I do a lot because, like I said, I'm kind of in a key role at the station, and the station needs a lot. But it could be different for everybody depending on what it is that you're doing, whether you're a cameraman, a producer, a writer. But overall, I would say every day, just think production. And if you're not in production, just think of what can I do to make production easier and better. That's kind of my focus every day. But working in television, you never know what's gonna pop up, at least over here with us.
Yeah. That's cool that you also like are on YouTube too. I feel like video is becoming so much more popular, especially with like TikTok and everything like that.
Right. And I feel like that's important because we have to be able to realize like the time and age that we're in. Not a lot of people really just turn on their television and watch cable. It's usually Netflix or they're on YouTube, things like that. The great thing about us is we also broadcast on Apple TV, Roku, and Fire Stick. So we try to diversify ourselves, but YouTube is a big one right now. And I love being able to kind of bring professional TV quality and standard to a YouTube production. It just makes it that much more engaging for the user when they're watching it versus just having something that you just did on just your phone. Just kind of bringing that quality to it. So we also try to keep our prices affordable for independent creators to have a place to come and create quality content.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And then, okay, I also wanted to ask, how did you get started in TV production? So like how you knew you were first interested, and also like how you were able to break into the industry.
It's so funny because I'm real big on like manifesting things and speaking things into existence. And everything for me with my career all started out with music. I was doing rap and I just wanted to be this artist. But I was always a big DIY person, do everything myself, making my flyers myself. It eventually got to the point where I started doing my own shows so I could headline my shows. From doing that, I ended up hosting my own shows. From doing that, people see me doing just what it is that I do. And an opportunity opened up for me in Austin at the public, it was a public access television out there in Austin. And that's when I first got introduced into just kind of TV production. But way before that, way back when, even as a kid, I've always just been a big fan of movies. And I've always just like written these movies in my head or like skits, things like that. So I always said that I was going to make it in music. And then once I got my money right, I'm going to get into film and acting and all of that. And it kind of just, I always had that passion for it. And it kind of found me through my connections, like knowing the right people and being prepared. You never know who you're gonna meet. Like, and it doesn't necessarily matter like what your credentials are. You can impress someone and they know nothing about you, but they can say, hey, you would be great for hosting. You would be great for interviewing. Oh, I like the way you think. You'd be great for this marketing team. So just always just being prepared. That's what it was for me. Being in the right place at the right time, but staying ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
But I guess to tell you specifically how I did get into it, once I moved to Houston, I was kind of doing radio. And that too was also the right place, right time, knowing what to say, how to say it. From being in radio, I have a really good friend of mine who does film. So he was a camera guy at the TV station, and he actually said that they were doing auditions because they were looking for more hosts, just good people on the team. I went through and auditioned as a host, and they loved me and everything, so they put me on with that. And then me just knowing the things that I know and what I'm able to do, I had to just contribute more than just hosting. So that's kind of what got me into the producer position.
Okay. Super cool. I also, with manifesting, I've been watching so many, like, I just kind of found out about it. And so I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about it recently. So funny that you say that. And I also wanted to ask, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, okay. All right. So my top two, and I can interchange these, but I'm going to have to go with Forrest Gump. That is
Okay.
one of my favorite movies, or Kill Bill.
Okay.
Anything Quentin Tarantino, I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like my two go-to movies, Kill Bill or Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump gives you a little bit of everything. You got your comedy, you got your romance, you got a little bit of a war story, you got two best friends, you got, so it was a lot. Like, and I really just like Tom Hanks back then. But Kill Bill, that's my movie. Yeah.
Good choices. Do you feel like those movies or like other movies that you like inspire the way that you produce your like TV and film?
Definitely Tarantino, because I kind of have a twisted creative mind. Like I have a lot of like dark humor. I'm real big on satire. But yeah, just the level of detail that he puts into his movies. Like seeing that, it's just like if you're gonna try and do something, I want to be able to do it like to the best of what I've seen, and people like Tarantino or Spike Lee or even just like different actors that I've studied. They set that bar for me, and that's with everything. I never want to do anything mediocre. So when it comes to like my influences, like movies that influence me, it definitely shapes like when I'm behind the camera. Because I'm definitely thinking, what would Tarantino do? What would Michael Bay do? Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, okay. I also wanted to ask if you could give one piece of advice for getting started, like what do you think is the most important thing? I feel like you kind of touched on it, but I wanted to ask it.
The mindset.
Okay.
And I say this with anything that you're doing, because one thing is like we always hear trust the process. I feel like not a lot of people are able to recognize when they're in the process. The process does not feel good. It does not look good. It's not easy. It makes you want to give up. It makes you want to quit. It makes you question everyone around you who says they support but doesn't. And it's like it is a very stressful process, but through that process, you have to understand that you are being groomed and shaped for what it is that you're working towards. And as long as you are realistic with yourself, be realistic with where you're at. Like that's one thing I would never felt like my ego was ahead of me. I understood where I was at, and it's like, okay, I know I'm good. I know I have the potential, but I also recognize where I'm at. And just always look to improve, always look to get better. Don't settle, because there's someone out here like me studying, Jimmy Fallon, studying Ellen DeGeneres, studying Oprah, studying The View, or shows that I don't even have an interest in, but it works. And I pay attention to movies. I break things down, so I always look to improve myself and look to like learn something new. Because if you're gonna get into this field, you're always gonna find someone that is a different type of creative than you, that's going to inspire you. So I always want to be someone that inspires people as well. So
Yeah.
that's my
Wow,
advice.
that was good advice. I really like that. Just like from from my standpoint, and I relate to what you were talking about, is like a lot of people might not know they're actually in the process and they'll get out of it, and
And get out
it'll
of
kind,
it.
yeah, and it'll set them back a little bit. But I think that's the key, is like I always talk about perspective and choice, right? I think perspective is the most, and that relates to what you were talking about, that mindset. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to train your mind to take a step back and look at what's going on currently. And then you can decide, all right, based on what I see, is my perspective going to be, hey, am I going to just go with like negativity and try to compare where I am with everyone else? Or am I going
Mm-hmm.
to look at this and really analyze what's going on, and then what's my next thing? What's the choice that I'm going to make? What's the decision I'm going to make from seeing that specific perspective? And those two things are so undervalued, because the small choices that you make end up leading to the bigger stage or the bigger
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. Because then once you get to that bigger opportunity, it's muscle memory, because you've done it on that smaller stage. You've done it in your room, where you hosted a whole show in your room and you did that
Mm-hmm.
easily. And now when you get to meeting the biggest rapper or the biggest artist of all time, you're not even nervous. You just in there getting it done.
Right.
And they feel that energy. And that's what people don't always realize, is that other people can feel that same energy that you put off. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely, bro. You nailed it.
so with your busy schedule, like we always talk about self-care on here, and we talk about how it's a moving target. It's You're
Mm-hmm.
constantly adjusting and things of that nature. But what does self-care and balance look like to you?
Um. Well, first off,
Mm.
knowing yourself and being real with yourself. Know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And just because someone says that works for them does not mean that it works for you. Just because this diet works for someone else does not mean that's the diet for you. So know yourself, know what's for you, and then it is balance. Like let's say the diet, for example. Let's say you don't want to go vegan, but you don't want to keep eating fast, greasy food every single night. So you find your middle ground. Find what works for you. Um, Hold on, what was the original question?
I was saying, what does self-care look like for
Yeah,
you?
yeah, the self-care. That's right. So with that, for me, it's all about balance because I go out a lot. Or I'll get invited to like these big events or celebrity events, and they be fun. And it's like, bro, it be events, they be like free drinks, it'd be like free food. So it'd be a lot of stuff. And like 2 in the morning will pop up real quick. Next thing you know, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning will be here really fast. And now I'm exhausted and drained, or I gotta be up at 9 in the morning for a production or something like that. So for me, because I'm able to go, 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 I can sleep for 4 hours and I'm good for the whole day. So, but I had to learn how to balance that out because there were days where it would catch up to me. Um, and then also just like the mental part of it is the most important part. Like I said, for me, everything is about mentality. If you have a healthy mind, I feel like everything else in your life is going to be healthy. I feel like any dis-ease in our life comes from in our mind first, by accepting what's given to us and not just thinking for ourselves. So, of course, like things like meditation, I think that's very important. And it doesn't have to look like what you may think it looks like. For meditation, maybe getting on your bike and riding around the block. It may be putting on your headphones, whatever takes you to that space of peace. Like focus on that, nurture that, do that every single day, do that multiple times a day. Don't do it one time, be like, oh wow, that was so good, I'm doing better, and then oh, I forgot to do it tomorrow, and then the day after, and you do it again next week. Like, no, like commit to doing that every day. Like, I think balance is important in, like I said, everything. Everything you do, whether it's work, relationships, your health, your vices, it's all about balance. So, like, I don't necessarily believe in like being too good or too bad. You can't have one without the other. You can't do everything 100% good. And then, like you said, that's perception at the end of the day anyway. So finding your healthy balance for what works for you.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like,
my biggest self-care.
yeah. I feel like especially during COVID, like everyone has had to find like different ways to work on their own self-care, and like things have changed so much. So
Hmm.
yeah, people have had to like hone in on what really works for them. Um, and speaking of COVID, I wanted to ask, how has your industry changed during COVID?
So look, right? So COVID, I was about to do, because I do events. And for me, South by Southwest was a huge event for me. I did 2 years as an official artist, and then the 3 years after that, I did all independent shows, and like that, I threw myself. So this, what was that? 2020, March of 2020, I was probably about to throw the biggest showcase I had ever done. Excuse me. I had sponsors. I had Paul Wall. I had Johnny Dang. It was gonna be like one of my biggest shows, and then COVID hit, and I refunded 100% of any money that I got in from anything, because I just believe in doing good business. I didn't want to, with everything going on, I didn't want that on my hands. So I was a little shook, because I was like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna make money? How am I gonna do, like, keep myself just even relevant, social media with no events going on? So that really forced me to think outside of the box. What can I do from home that I can still connect with people? So, and this is before I got into radio and television. This was like right at the beginning of everything. So I started my brand Lyrical Layers, which is now becoming my TV show. This started out really as an event in Austin, and when I came to Houston, I created a playlist. So I was like, well, I know a lot of artists, and I've been pushing big on like Spotify numbers and all that. So let me start a playlist and get everyone to stream my playlist. And that went crazy. And it's to the point now where people pay me monthly to be on that playlist. So COVID honestly was a huge blessing in disguise for me. Of course, when it first happened, and this comes to that whole mindset thing, I could have just been panicking and think, oh, this is gonna be so hard and tough. I was like, nah, this is a change. When things change, that means there's opportunity. No matter what, it could be a bad change, but that means there's an opportunity for something new to be born. And that's what the mindset I had with COVID. What can I do now? Because I was also looking at it as like this. Well, this is a whole new playing field. All the rules have just changed with everything. So maybe I can get in here and kind of write some of my own rules, and that's kind of how it affected just me. One thing, as far as just like TV and everything, it does make it harder trying to do things with a live audience or a guest. Even some guests don't want to book or schedule. It's a lot more open now, but when it first hit, it was a lot harder with capacity regulations, keeping people so many feet apart, because then some of our productions, we may need a pretty big crew, working crew. So, and there was even at times where it's like, okay, we had to like shut down production for like 2 weeks because someone on our staff ended up getting COVID. So everyone's advised to go get tested, stay home, quarantine, and luckily everyone was good, but it definitely affected things.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But that's awesome that you were able to find a silver lining within it.
Mhm.
That's really cool. All right. So I also wanted to ask, what has been one of your favorite projects? It can be multiple too.
Ooh, as far as like with the TV station.
Yeah, or
So
just
I got
any
to,
at all.
well, as far as TV, I got to interview the baby, which was really cool. Um, that was cool because it was a very, like I said, just kind of just being ready experiences. So we get there early, had a very hard time getting in as media, even though we were invited out, names on the list and everything, had a very hard time getting in. It was raining on us. I'm like, I'm just trying to get my equipment inside. So we get inside and everything. We're there early. We have our sections and all that. And one of the like production managers for the show comes and gets us and says, we're bringing everyone to the media room so that we can get ready to do the interviews. So we knew that we were going to interview them and they were coming in and everything, but we didn't know much. So I took a moment to pull her to the side and I was just like, hey, is there anything that I should know? Anything I should be prepared for of how this is about to go? And she was like, he's about to come in. And I was just like, okay, like that's not much, but all right. So he comes in, has the, looking like a star, like a superstar, the jewelry, everything. It's like, okay, this is pretty cool. But as soon as he hits the door, it was like a paparazzi effect. Cameras and everyone immediately rushed in. We were all spread out at first and everyone immediately rushed in. So I had a friend who had my camera because I wanted him to get footage of me, and I had the I don't even know, I didn't even have the microphone because I had another host that was with me and I wasn't trying to just like steal the spotlight and everything, but she was holding the microphone and my friend was holding the camera. And when I saw everyone like kind of do that paparazzi rush, he wasn't moving fast enough. So I snatched the camera from him and I got in there and I'm snapping pics and everything. And then like the baby starts talking. So I give him the camera back and I'm trying to get my co-host to like come up so that she can get in and get like the first like little introduction. And she like, I could just tell like she was kind of just like, So I grabbed the mic from her and the baby, mind you, I know all the media people in the room. That's what I love about the media in Houston. A lot of us, we're very close knit. We see each other, support each other. We're at the same events. So I know everybody that's in there. And I know the lady who was just in charge. And the baby goes, all right, so what's up? How are we doing this? We're going to do this one by one or what? And he's asking us this. So when he asked that, I'm like, well, he don't know. And I know they don't know. So I was just like, yo, are you ready? And he looked at me and he was like, yeah. And I just started the interview. And even like to this day, I will have people from that were there at that event. Like I was just at an event last week. And there's a girl there and she's like, yo, that baby event, she said, you killed it. She like, cause you set the tone. She said, you could tell everyone was scared to speak up and ask something. And I was literally the first person to like set that tone and like kind of like open that up for everyone. So that was a really cool event. And it just kind of just brought a lot more recognition my way and everything. So that was a really cool experience that I got to do. But just honestly, just everything overall, just being a part of it, like working for the TV station, getting to meet the celebrities, learning more, the opportunities. It's all just honestly a blessing. So
Sounds like you have such a cool life. I'm jealous. Also, I love that you said that like all of the media people in your town are all like supportive of each other. That's so fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's important too, because like the rap industry and the entertainment industry is already so competitive anyway. And so I love that too. It's like there's no real like egos. It's like, hey, who are you? What do you do? Oh, you work with so and so, and oh, you do this. Like, that's cool. Yeah, I'm with Iconic, and it's like it's always love.
Yeah, so. That's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, relationships are very important. Don't burn bridges. If you don't like someone, find the politest way to disconnect, but keep that bridge open. You never know. Learning how to work with people you don't like is also very important, and to how to keep your energy good.
And speaking about relationships, what would you say are some of your top networking tips that you would give?
Smile. Smile, definitely smile. Walk into a room smiling. Don't walk in mugging, trying to be hard. Be friendly. Be friendly. Talk to everyone. You never know who someone is. You never know who someone is. I met someone at an event the other day and they like happened to be like the head of marketing for MMG. And I was like, oh wow, like that's cool, you know. So you never know who you're talking to. Treat everyone with respect and just always just do your best and just have a good presentation. But I feel like the energy is the most important part. But don't try to be anything that you're not before you are. Instagram, for the longest, I was like, I want to have my follower ratio here, and I don't want to follow more than 1,000 people, but I want to have 10,000 followers. Like, nah, show love. show love and you will get love back. What you put out, it'll come back. So that's my biggest tip on it.
Yeah, those are great tips. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one that really stands out is what you said about like not being something before you are that. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the world that we live in, where a lot of people are trying to be something different, versus who they truly are, because who they truly are is really what drives authentic connections. And I think we miss that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a huge part of like perspective and choice and all of that stuff is it's really important to have a bearing and an understanding of who you are, and then what type of
Right.
energy you put out.
Because then one thing too, we are understand this is a entertainment field. If you're choosing to be an entertainer, understand your level of entertainment. I have a friend who has thousands and thousands of followers, like 60,000 followers, but he got it doing skits, pranks, and being funny. And then he gets upset when he posts his music and it doesn't get the same response. So, well, that's not why they're following you. And that's why, for me, and it was something I had to learn how to become comfortable on camera. I had to learn how to be myself on camera. Sometimes it's already hard enough for people to be themselves with themselves or with other people. So then to do it on camera, it's not the easiest thing to do. But if you're going to get into television or anything like this, get comfortable with being your true authentic self on that camera and make that work for you. Because I can go anywhere and be me. I can go and host a music event, a fashion show, whatever it is, and still be me. And people buy into me. And now it's not a gimmick. I don't have to go be this person anytime the camera's on and someone runs up to me, oh, let me turn on 91. Like, no, 91 is Eric. That's just the entertainment side of it, but it is essentially just me. And I feel like that's the biggest thing you can do. Like, don't learn how to adapt, learn how to talk with this group and associate with this group and this social class, but learn how to do that and still be yourself. So it makes it easier on you. Now there's less expectations. Like, hey, I'm me. And like, if you really think about it, most of your favorite people in the world are being themselves, you know? You see the one, you kind of see through the fake artists.
Yeah, that's it's funny. Literally, that's what I tell everyone. I think we talk about it in our internship all the time. It's like your favorite artists are just authentically being themselves. So don't feel like you need to be someone
Prince,
different.
Michael
Right.
Jackson. All right. Like, no, they're weird people. They're weird, but that's what makes them so great too. And they're not
Yep.
trying to not be weird. They're okay with being that weird guy that wears the blouse but makes beautiful music. Like,
Yep. That's so true. So true. Before we wrap up, any other questions that you have, Marie?
That's all for me.
Okay. And one of our go-to questions is, if you had to describe the last few days that you've been in, how would you do so how would you describe it based on a song, artist, or album?
ooh, so the past couple of days.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So maybe you guys can even help me out. I'll kind of describe the past few days for you. Like, there has been a lot of growth, and a lot of reflection. There's been a lot of reflection because of the growth. I'm really now starting to look back and be like, oh wow, like I've been doing this for 10 years. You know, I've been doing this since college, doing X, Y, and Z. Oh wow, I've done all of these things, and it's like, wow, my dreams are literally coming true, like almost right around the corner. So I would probably say, like, it feels like almost like Rags to Riches by Roddy Ricch, but I'm not just focused on the money. For me, it's more like with the career, you know. Like my first job was like a smoothie place, and now like, okay, cool. Like I'm about to do a tour with The Source. Like when I remember throwing my first events and everything. I remember the first time I did an event and I thought to myself, I feel like maybe I can make a career out of this. Like I think I can do good at this, to now kind of being on the, working with these big industry names. So if I just had to put one, I would say maybe Rags to Riches, but I feel like that one doesn't do it justice. Oh, I know exactly what song it is. Lifestyle by Young Thug. Yeah, that's the one. I did
I
a
love
lot.
that.
I did a lot to get to where I'm at. And I'm
Yeah,
finally in that mindset right now, recognizing it's paying off.
that's fly. I love that answer. That's a good
I had to
one.
think about it.
Marie, what about you?
Okay, well now I feel like mine is kind of cringy, because that was so like inspirational. Um, I know it's kind of a meme of a song, but the song Firefly by Owl City, because I was telling Mo about this before, when it's getting warm outside and like I'm just a sucker for like summer nights with like fireflies coming out, and that's starting to happen. So that is why I chose that song, even though it's kind of a meme of a song.
Hey,
Nice.
it all has to pertain to you. Um, I'm trying to think what song. I did an interview earlier today, so I'm trying to pick a different artist. Um, the song is by J. Cole off his latest project.
Mm.
I'm just gonna pick. I think it's called 100 Mil,
Yeah, that's a good
and
one.
yeah, I just been singing that song, but like
Hmm.
I feel like I'm in a good space, but still on the grind, trying to get myself better.
Yes, I feel
For
that one. I man, and
so
that's crazy. That whole album, when I listened to it, I was like, "This is my life." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, okay, if it's like a champion album,
yeah, and I really
kind of in
like
your prime.
it is, and I really like. I watched the documentary to it, and I talked about this in a previous interview, but how he was talking to 21 Savage just about how he got so comfortable in the schedule and he really wanted to better his performance and better his
Hmm.
pen, and putting himself through these drills and really pushing himself to that limit. And I feel like today is that. It's like push myself to the limit, get my stuff done, and then enjoy the fruits of my labor. And
Yeah,
that's where I feel like I'm at with that.
I feel that one. That's a good one.
Cool. Well, we always like to give our guests a round of applause, show love, for those people that come on, because we appreciate you taking the time out of your day, to chat with us and share your knowledge with our audience. So truly, truly appreciate it, 90.
Now, I appreciate it, man. This is fun. This is definitely fun.
Thank you so much. This was
Thank
so
you.
useful, and I feel like I got a lot of good advice out of it. So
And you said you're still in school right now.
yeah,
Take advantage of that. You are in a mecca of it's your audience is right there. Your market is right there. You know, like you could establish a whole fan base on campus. You know, get those followers up. So definitely before you get out of there, get as many people as you can. Like I said, get out there, smile, talk to everyone. I don't care. Be that annoying girl with the camera. You know, they're gonna know you. They're gonna, even if they're hating on your videos, that's good. Not everyone's gonna like you in this industry, and be okay with that. And have tough skin and just that tenacity. Like, and you can create your situation in your environment. Like I said, keep manifesting. Visualize the things that you want. And if you can see them in your head and you can feel it in your heart, then you can for sure. Those are two confirmations. When you see it clearly up here and you feel it here, that means go for it. So I'm
Hey,
excited to see what you do.
oh, thank you so much.
great advice, great advice. And I think that's all we need for our listeners. So we appreciate it. And for those of you listening, whether this is your morning routine, afternoon, or the thing you do before you go to bed, we appreciate you listening. Skirt, skirt, we're out.